Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to tackle a math problem that has probably given most of us headaches at some point, the quadratic equation. But forget the frustrating guesswork. We're going to explore a surprisingly elegant and direct solution.
Yeah, does this look familiar? For so many of us, seeing something like this in math class meant you were in for a whole lot of trial and error. It could feel kind of clunky, right? A bit frustrating. But what if there's a much better way?
So first, let's just quickly remember the old way, the conventional method we all had to learn. The whole game was trying to split that middle term, which, let's be honest, often felt more like blind luck than actual science.
You know the drill. You multiply the first and last coefficients, and then you go on this hunt for two magic numbers that add up to the middle one. I mean, it works, eventually, but that hunt can be tedious. That's the exact part of the problem we're about to fix.
Okay, so here's the alternative, a really elegant method from Vedic Mathematics. Instead of all that guesswork, it just uses two simple, powerful rules. They're called sutras, and they basically create a straight line, a direct path right to the answer.
The first rule, and this is really the secret weapon here, is called Anurupian. It means proportionately. This one little idea gives you a logical way to check your work that completely gets rid of the trial and error in splitting that middle term.
All right, let's see how this actually works. We're going to use a new example from the source material. 2x squared plus 7x plus 6. Let's walk through it step by step using this Vedic approach.
Okay, first we split the middle term, 7x, into two smaller parts. We'll go with 4x and 3x. Now, I know what you're thinking. Wait, isn't that still a guess? Nope, not at all. The absolute magic is in how we immediately check if this split is the right one.
And here it is. This is the power of a Anurupian right here. We check the ratio of the first two coefficients, so 2 to 4. That simplifies to 1 over 2. Then we check the ratio of the last two, 3 to 6. Guess what? That's also 1 over 2. The ratios match, it's perfect. That confirms our split was correct from the get-go.
And here's the really brilliant part. That common ratio, that 1 to 2, it's not just a check. It is the first factor. It directly gives us x plus 2, just like that. No messing around, half the problem is already solved.
So we've got our first factor. How do we get the second one? Well, that's where the second sutra comes in. It's called Andyom Endien Antiom Antien. It sounds complicated, but it just means the first by the first and the last by the last. It's basically a simple instruction for building the second factor mechanically.
To get our second factor, we just follow those instructions. We divide the first term of the original quadratic, which is 2x squared, by the first term of the factor we found, which is x. That gives us 2x. Then we divide the last term, 6, by the last term of our factor, 2. That gives us 3. And there it is. Our second factor is 2x plus 3. Done. No more guesswork.
And if you think that's cool, get this. The Vedic system even has this simple, elegant way to double-check your answer at the end. It uses another sutra called Gunit Samuchayaha.
So to use this check, you just add up the coefficients in the original quadratic. So 2 plus 7 plus 6 is 15. Okay? Now, do the same for the two factors we found, but you multiply their sums. So 1 plus 2 times 2 plus 3, that's 3 times 5, which is also 15. They match. It's this beautiful instant confirmation that we got it right. You know, we can actually make this process even faster, almost automatic. If we categorize quadratics based on the plus and minus signs of their terms, we can create what is basically a cheat code that tells us exactly how to split the middle term every single time.
Think of this table as your roadmap. All you have to do is look at the signs of the b and c terms, and you immediately know what your two factors are going to look like. So, for example, if you see a type 3 with the signs plus, minus, plus, you know for a fact that both parts of your split middle term have to be negative. It just removes another whole layer of uncertainty, making the process incredibly fast.
Okay, so we've been talking about factoring expressions. That's great.
But what about solving actual equations? Especially the messy ones, the ones that don't factor into nice, clean whole numbers. Well, it turns out the Vedic system has a direct method for that too. Now, this next rule is another stroke of pure genius. It connects two ideas you might remember from other math classes, the first differential and the discriminant. But even if those words sound scary, don't worry. The rule itself is just a simple recipe to get straight to the solution.
I know, this formula might look a little intense at first glance. But what it really is a surprisingly direct path to find the answers, the roots, of any quadratic equation, no matter how complicated. Let's see how it actually works. Okay, watch how powerful and fast this is. First, you get the differential, which is just 12x plus 5. Easy. Second, you calculate the discriminant, which comes out to 97. Now, you just set them equal to each other. 12x plus 5 equals plus or minus the square root of 97. From there, it's just basic algebra to solve for x. In 3 quick steps, we've cracked a really tough equation. So when you take a step back and look at all this, what's the big takeaway? Is this just a bunch of clever math tricks? The real point here is that this is a whole logical system. It gives you a totally different and, frankly, more intuitive way to think about quadratics. It changes the entire process from a random hunt for numbers into a logical construction based on proportion and structure. It's not just a faster method, it's a faster way of thinking.
And all of this leaves us with one last big question. When methods like this exist, methods that are so intuitive, so elegant, so efficient, why aren't they a standard part of how we all learn math? It's definitely something to think about. Thanks for watching.